When you think of the Cy Young Award, the names that come to mind are almost always starters. Sandy Koufax, Pedro Martínez, Greg Maddux, Justin Verlander. These are the guys who racked up innings, anchored rotations, and dominated over the long haul. But in the long history of the award, only 9 relievers have ever broken through. They didn't have the innings of a starter, but their impact was so immediate, dominant, and crucial that voters had no choice. So today, we're going to go through the 9 times a relief pitcher was so good he walked away with Cy Young. 1974. Mike Marshall. Let's start with the first reliever to ever win it, and a season that may never be repeated. Mike Marshall in 1974 didn't just win the Cy Young, he broke the system. That year he appeared in an MLB record 106 games, all in relief, throwing an unbelievable 208.1 innings out of the bullpen. He posted a 2.42 ERA, 15 wins, 21 saves, and 143 strikeouts. While some of those numbers don't seem that crazy, remember, he was a reliever. And Marshall wasn't a one-time closer either, he was a fireman. He came in whenever needed, the 5th, the 6th, the 8th, the 10th. Sometimes he pitched 3 innings, sometimes 4, sometimes every day of the week. From May 17th to June 18th, he pitched in 30 of the Dodgers' 34 games. He finished 2nd in Cy Young voting the year before, but then won it in 74 with the Dodgers. He also finished 5th in MVP voting behind Steve Garvey. Marshall's season helped the Dodgers win 102 games and the National League pennant. His durability redefined the value of a relief pitcher, and his 106 appearances and 208.1 relief innings remain MLB records, and in today's games, they'll likely never be touched. Even starters rarely throw this many innings anymore. 1977, Sparky Lyle. Sparky Lyle became the first American League reliever to win the Cy Young, as he was a steady anchor of a chaotic Yankees bullpen. He pitched in 72 games, finished 60 of them, and had a 2.17 ERA. He also logged 137 innings, racked up 13 wins, 26 saves, and was a key part of the Yankees winning 100 games in the AL East. He wasn't a modern closer. He came in during the 6th or 7th and regularly pitched multiple innings. He had 23 outings of 2 innings or more. He finished ahead of guys like Jim Palmer and Nolan Ryan. He also finished 6th in MVP voting, which was a rare feat for a reliever. After 77, the Yankees signed Goose Gossage, pushing Lyle out of the closer role, but for that 1 year, Lyle was the best bullpen arm in baseball, and according to the voters, the most valuable pitcher in the American League. 1979, Bruce Sutter. By 79, the closer role was evolving, and Bruce Sutter was one of the reasons why. Pitching for a 500 Cubs team, Sutter led the league with 37 saves, posted a 2.22 ERA, struck out 110 batters in 101.1 innings, and had an ERA plus of 183. He also had a B-WAR of 6.3, which is a crazy number for a reliever. His signature pitch, the split finger fastball, became one of the most influential pitches of the 1980s. Sutter didn't invent it, but he popularized it, and hitters just simply cannot handle it. Sutter later revolutionized the modern closer role and finished his career with 300 saves, eventually earning a spot in the Hall of Fame. But 79 was the year he took home the hardware. 1981, Rollie Fingers. Rollie Fingers had already been a World Series MVP and a postseason hero with the Oakland A's, but in 81, now with the Brewers, he had the most dominant season of his career. In the strike-shortened season, Fingers pitched 78 innings, saved 28 games, struck out 61, walked just 13, and had a 1.04 ERA. His whip was a microscopic .872, and his ERA plus was an absurd 333. He didn't just win the Cy Young, he also won the AL MVP, becoming just the second pitcher ever to win both in the same season, after Denny McLain in 1968, and this was before Eckersley in 92. Fingers beat out guys like Steve McCatty, Goose Gossage, Dennis Leonard in the voting. He also helped Milwaukee win the second half AL East title during a split season format caused by the strike. It was the peak of one of the greatest relief careers ever, and it came more than a decade into his career, showing how elite command and a devastating slider can age gracefully. 1984, Willie Hernandez. The 84 Tigers were one of the greatest teams of all time. They started 35-5, finished 104-58, and won the World Series, and Willie Hernandez was their bullpen ace. In his first year with Detroit, Hernandez pitched in 80 games, threw 141.1 innings, posted a 1.92 ERA, struck out 112 batters, and saved 32 games. His ERA plus was 204, and his B-WAR was 4.8. He threw a screwball, which gave right-handed hitters fits, and he often pitched multiple innings. He had 20 outings of 2+ innings, and even 3 outings of 4+ innings. He won both the Cy Young and AL MVP, making him the 3rd pitcher ever and the 2nd reliever to win both awards. His main Cy Young competition was Dan Quisenberry, who had 44 saves, a 2.64 ERA, and only 11 walks in 129.1 innings. But Hernandez had the narrative. He was the anchor of a 104-win championship team and a postseason hero. Even though that didn't factor into the voting, it's still worth mentioning. 1987, Steve Bedrosian. Steve Bedrock Bedrosian was the 1987 Cy Young as the Phillies closer. He led the majors with 40 saves, posted a 2.83 ERA, and struck out 74 in 89.1 innings. And you may think these numbers sound good, but not Cy Young level for a reliever. And this was one of the more controversial Cy Young wins. Bedrosian had a solid season, but he didn't dominate in advanced metrics. His ERA plus was 137, WHIP was 1.2, and B-WAR was 2.6. 6. He beat out guys like Rick Sutcliffe and Nolan Ryan, and it was a weak Cy Young field that year with no dominant starter, so Bedrosian's save total and reliability in the 9th inning won him the vote. He never had another season like it, but in 87, Bedrosian became the face of late inning relief and took home the biggest pitching award in the National League. 1989, Mark Davis. In 89, Davis put together the best season of his career, and it earned him the Cy Young. Pitching for a Padres team that finished 89 and 73, Davis saved 44 games, posted a 1.85 ERA, struck out 92 and 92.2 innings, and held opposing hitters to a 199 average. His ERA plus was 190, and his B-WAR was 4. He beat out Mike Scott and Greg Maddux, and it was a tight field, but Davis's combination of saves, innings, and shutdown dominance gave him the edge. He signed a big contract with the Royals after the season, but never came close to repeating his 89 form. Still, that one season was enough to etch his name into Cy Young history. 1992, Dennis Eckersley. By the early 90s, the closer role had evolved into the one-inning shutdown specialist, and Dennis Eckersley was the prototype. In 92, Eckersley threw 80 innings, saved 51 games, walked just 11 batters, struck out 93, and posted a 1.91 ERA with a whip of just .913. His K-to-walk ratio was 8.45, and his ERA plus was 190. He won both the AL Cy Young and MVP, joining Fingers and Hernandez as the only relievers to win both in the same year. He beat out Roger Clemens and Mike Messina in the voting. From 88 to 92, Eckersley had a 5-year stretch of 220 saves, 1.9 ERA, and was the most efficient, most dominant closer of his time, and 92 was the peak of that run. And lastly, we have Eric Gagné in 2003. The last reliever to win the Cy Young, and maybe the most dominant single-season closer ever, was Eric Gagné in 2003. That year, he converted 55 save opportunities, a perfect season. You heard that right. He pitched 82.1 innings, had a 1.2 ERA, struck out 137 batters, walked only 20, and posted a whip of .692, and his ERA plus, a jaw-dropping 337. His strikeout rate was a crazy 15 per 9, and his fastball changeup combo, including his famous Vulcan changeup, which you probably know if you played MLB The Show. This left hitters completely overmatched. He beat out Mark Pryor, and in Cy Young voting, he won 28 of 32 first place votes. Gagné actually went on to record 84 straight saves between 2002 and 2004. Still the MLB record, but injuries and a later PED admission clouded his legacy. And now I just want to talk about some relievers that should have taken the Cy Young. Dan Quisenberry, 1983. Quisenberry was one of the best closers of the 80s, throwing with an underhand submarine style that baffled hitters. In 83, he saved 45 games, posted a 1.94 ERA in 139 innings, and walked just 11 batters all year. His ERA plus was 210, and his B-WAR was 5.5. He finished second in Cy Young voting behind Lamar Hoyt, who won 24 games for the White Sox, but had a modest 3.66 ERA. Looking back with modern stats, Quisenberry's season was far more valuable than Hoyt's. Goose Gossage, 1978. In 78, Goose Gossage was at the peak of its powers. He saved 27 games, had a 2.01 ERA, struck out 122 batters in 134 innings, and was the most intimidating reliever in baseball. That year, Cy Young went to his teammate Ron Guidry, who was 25-3 with a 1.74 ERA, and that was arguably one of the best pitching seasons ever, so Goose never really had a chance. But if Guidry hadn't had that historic season, Gossage would have had a strong case. Trevor Hoffman, 1998. One of the best closers of all time, he never won the award. In 98, he saved 53 games with a 1.48 ERA and struck out 86 batters in 73 innings. His whip was .849, and his ERA plus was 265. He finished second in Cy Young voting to Tom Glavine, who went 20-6 with a 2.47 ERA. Hoffman also finished 7th in MVP voting. Many argue Hoffman should have won because his dominance in high leverage situations was unmatched, and he carried the Padres bullpen to the World Series. Mariano Rivera, multiple seasons. Like, there's not really one season I could pick for this. It's actually shocking that the greatest closer of all time had never won the Cy Young. He finished in the top 3 4 different times, but his best chance probably came in 2005 when he had a 1.38 ERA, 43 saves, and a whip under .9. He finished second behind Bartolo Colon, who had a solid year but was far less dominant statistically. By today's metrics, Rivera almost certainly would have won that year. Even though a reliever hasn't won recently, there just wasn't any dominant starter that year. Like, Bartolo Colon had a solid year, obviously, but this is still one of the biggest snubs in Cy Young history, in my opinion. Craig Kimbrell, 2012. 2012, Kimbrell had a season that was video game-like. He pitched 62.2 innings, had a 1.01 ERA, and struck out 116 batters while walking just 14. His strikeout rate was an insane 16.7, and his ERA plus was 399, one of the highest single-season marks ever. And what's crazy is that he finished 5th in Cy Young voting, but you could argue no pitcher in baseball was more dominant that year. R.A. Dickey won the award with a knuckleball-fueled 21 season, but Kimbrell's numbers hold up against anyone. He would actually finish 4th in Cy Young voting the next year, but I think his 2012 season was a little better. And finally, we have Zach Britton in 2016. This is also a pretty famous snub. Britton saved 47 games in 47 chances, had a .54 ERA in 67 innings, and allowed just 1 home run all season. He finished 4th in Cy Young voting behind Rick Porcello, Justin Verlander, and Corey Kluber. And I went over this in another video, but Porcello should not have won Cy Young this year. If I was voting, it would have been close. I think I would have given it to Britton, but Verlander also had a good argument. I think with the more advanced stats that are used, even though this was only 9 9 years ago, I think there's a better chance Zach Britton would win now. Also, there's something I didn't mention yet. So most of these relievers have had pretty strong ERA pluses, some even going above 300. Comment what you think Zach Britton's was if you don't know what it is. All right, write your comment. It was 803. That was one of the best ERA pluses of all time, and it's really a shame that he didn't get more consideration for the Cy Young. So obviously what we've learned from this video is that relievers don't win Cy Youngs often. In nearly 70 years of the award, it's only happened 9 times. Each time the pitcher had to be absolutely untouchable. Well, in most cases, there's a couple controversial ones on here, and it's also usually in a season with no clear starter dominating the field. Some of these guys were firemen, pitching 3 innings every other day. Others were 1-inning weapons who made the game 8 innings long. Some pitched for champions, others for teams that didn't even make the playoffs, but all of them have something in common. For that one season, they were the best pitcher in baseball, at least according to the voters, even if they didn't start a single game. What relievers do you think should have won the Cy Young? Which relievers do you think have a chance to win, even though it's been over 20 years? Let me know in the comments, and be sure to subscribe and like, as it really helps me out. You could also become a channel member for just a couple bucks a month. Thank you for watching Baseball Domain, and I'll see you next time.